Okay, we're going to get started now. So, welcome to a Eureka Institute program. Some of you guys may already know us, and you might recognize me. I am Zoe. I'm the founder and president of Eureka Institute. I'm a 12th grader in high school, and Eureka Institute is a nonprofit organization dedicated to inspiring young students in STEM by providing free opportunities like classes and events to um, help you guys engage and get more confident in it. And you can check out our programs at that link. And to be notified when we have new programs, you can join our mailing list. So if you have already attended a Eureka Institute class, welcome back. But if you haven't, welcome. This is the Apex Scholar Research Program. So this is our staff for this program. So we have Ben, who is the manager of this program, who created this program for you guys. Ben, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. So basically, I'll be the program manager for this research program.
Okay. And then Bhavesh is one of our research instructors. He will be teaching the slides to teach general research concepts. Bhavesh, can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Bhavesh. I'm a high school sophomore and I'm excited to be a research instructor for this program.
Okay, and our other research instructor is Josiah. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello guys, I'm Josiah. I'm a junior in high school and I'm excited to be a research instructor.
Okay, and then we have Talia, who is our communications manager, and she has been communicating with you guys via email. So ask her if you have any questions. Talia, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Talia, and I'm in charge of communications. So basically, just sending out emails and communicating with you guys.
Yeah, okay. So these are our research mentors, which we'll talk more about later in this meeting. But can you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Tanishka and I'm in high school and I'm a mentor for this program.
Yeah, my name is Anish. I'm in high school too, a sophomore, and I'm a mentor too.
Okay. Yeah, and Josiah and Bhavesh will also act as mentors.
Okay, so basically, first we'll be going over the program mission. So the Apex Research Scholar Program is basically a program that's designed to introduce middle school students to how real academic research is conducted. So this program is also multidisciplinary, meaning it spans a wide range of academic fields. So in this program, students will learn the foundational research skills that apply across disciplines. So ARSP basically also emphasizes on independent thinking, structured inquiry, and also professional communication. So now we will be going over the program structure. So this program will basically be free and it will also be 6 weeks long. It is a virtual research program for middle school students and it is also designed for grades 6 to 8. So basically we will also be having weekly sessions and this program will introduce how real academic research is done across different subject fields. And so also, students will also be supported by mentors in their own projects, meaning every student will have a research mentor that kind of guides them. And by the end of the program, there will also be a final presentation where the students will get to present their own projects. So for the research tracks, basically each student gets to select their primary research track during the program. And so these tracks will basically be able to group students by their academic interests. And like I mentioned before, each student will have a research mentor who guides them on their track. And so these mentors will guide subject-specific thinking and project development. And so these tracks will help students explore research in a focused and supportive environment. So the role of the research mentors is to support students in a specific research tracks, and usually these students will work in small groups. And so these mentors will help students refine research questions, think through methods, and also make drafts and presentations. And overall, they will guide the students' thinking and also encourage independence. So for the weekly program flow, this program will progress over 6 weeks. And some of the steps, so basically the first step is the orientation and foundations, and then we'll move on to the question development and background research, and then comes the project design and refinement, and then comes the analysis and critical thinking, and we will also end off with the research communication and presentation preparation. So like I mentioned before, each week we'll build towards a final research presentation where the students will be able to present their final projects. And for the outcomes of the program, so by the end of the program, each student will have created an independent research project, and they can also create a research poster by working closely with their research mentor. They will have gained exposure to academic research process, and the project will also be posted on our partners page, which is on Sage Scholar, and every single student will also receive a certificate of completion. And is this for the research topic?
Yes. So, Bhavesh.
Yeah, so this is week 1, and we're going to be explaining what exactly is research, what are the different components of it, and the types of research that you're going to be doing. And there are multiple tracks you can choose from. There are, I believe, 6, and you can choose from some of them. Choose one and then stick with that. And there are certain expectations to be expected to follow. So, welcome to ARSP. It stands for Apex Research Scholar Program, and you're probably here because you want to learn more about the world and like science in general, and learn about the real research project like process. So to potentially even like do real research and maybe write a research report or something like that. So this program is exactly for you if you want to learn how real researchers think, plan, and actually work. And no experience is required. You don't have to be like a scientist or know how to do like full-fledged research projects. Even if you're like a full beginner with science and like research in general, you're totally welcome to do this program. All you need is curiosity and willingness to learn, because in research you're going to learn like sooner or later that having the curiosity and ambition to learn is really important. And by the end of the program, essentially just week 6, you'll have completed your own research project front to back. So what is research? Research is like formally it's a structured process of asking a question, understanding literature, so basically gathering evidence, and experimentation. So you're analyzing what you found, and then you're drawing conclusions based on your research and your evidence to advance knowledge in the field. So generally, school assignments will have a predefined question, a known answer, and graded by rubric. And then real research will have your own question, unknown answer, and evaluated by peers. And what connects to them is that curiosity, evidence-based thinking, and clear communication.
So, what's the difference between research and a school project? So, a school project is something that's given to you, right? The teacher is expecting you to complete the project in a certain way. The sources are always either textbooks or websites, and the goal is to just show your understanding, and the teacher is the person who's going to grade your work. A research study is a little different from that. There's a question that you can create. The outcome is uncertain because you might come up with some type of new method or some type of information that's never been known before. The sources can be peer-reviewed literature, but in reality, research, your sources can come from anywhere because research is a very diverse field. And the goal is to just produce new knowledge and to come up with something that's not been done before. And the audience is the broader field. So, why does research matter? 100% of modern medicine, technology, and policy is built on research. And every major problem in the world, from disease to climate, is being solved through structured inquiry. Guys, research is the factor that moves different sectors and industries in our world. Without research, our world wouldn't be as advanced as how it is today. Research is one of the most underlooked yet important things that you can do. And doing it as a middle schooler puts you far ahead of many other students. And the best part is you don't need a PhD to contribute. Research begins with simply a good question.
So here are the different types of research. Believe it or not, there are 4 types, and the first one is experimentation. So you have a hypothesis, and don't worry if you don't know what a hypothesis is yet, but a hypothesis is basically just a statement or like a guess in your like after doing literature review and understanding the topic, you would have like a guess. Like for example, if X variable goes up, then the Y variable will go down or something like that. It's like a guess on some if you do something, then this thing will happen. It's like a guess, and you would use experimentation to validate that guess and prove it whether it's right or not or wrong. And it's generally be used in lab sciences or psychology. And for observational research, you would basically be studying student, like actual humans or subjects in the environment, the natural environment without actual intervention. So this would be common in sociology, medicine, and ecology. And computational would be basically like computer science, AI, data science. It's more pitting towards the online aspects, so like computational aspects, without actually touching the physical aspects of research. But you can still like have like a small like merge it with that, but it's really putting an emphasis on the computational aspects. And then for literature based, you can't avoid literature. It's everywhere in research, so it's integrated into all disciplines. It basically synthesizes on past work and building new arguments and or identifying and addressing research gaps.
All right, yeah. So how researchers find questions, there's basically 5 steps to the process. The first process is observing. In the world, you have to go out in the world and observe a problem, see what's going on, and how to fix it. That's why you then go up and two, you go up and read. You have to go into online, whether that's the internet or your local library, and you have to study about what is already known about the topic. And then you connect the observation you learned in these like in the present compared with the stuff that you learned in like the library or the internet, and you identify that gap. That is the third step. Then you go up and you ask fourth, which is ask, which is like framing the gap for like as a specific and testable question. In other words, that could be like asking like us as the mentors on like how to like approach this problem and how to solve this problem. And then once you go through these steps of research that we talked about before, then you can go up and refine it and like narrow down the question until it's realistic to get an answer and you have like a perfect research method.
So, what makes a good research question? A good research question has to be focused, right? It should be narrow enough to actually answer in the 6 weeks and online. So we shouldn't ask questions like what are all the AI businesses or something crazy. We shouldn't ask any crazy questions. It should be reasonable, but also things that can bring genuine impact. And the research question should also be original. It should add something new, even if it's small, to the research topic. The question should also be researchable because it should be something that can be answered with data, sources that are accessible online or even in person or at a library and things like that. And the question should also be significant. It should matter and it should matter to someone beyond yourself, right? It should matter to our community, the people around us. Sometimes it could even matter to like the leaders of different types of businesses and companies and things of that nature.
So here are the different research tracks that you will be offering to you. The first one is life sciences and medicine. The next one is computer science and artificial intelligence. The third one is mathematics and data analysis. The fourth one is psychology and neuroscience. The fifth one is social sciences, which includes economics, sociology, and policy. And number six includes humanities, which includes their history, literature, and philosophy. The mentors, you'll be assigned to research mentors, and they'll generally be high school students, college students, or even graduate students, or maybe even people who have early researchers in their career and who still already have some experience in their specific field, and they'll be helping you on mentoring you through your research project and your process. So they're not here to like give you the direct answers, but they're rather here to guide you in your thinking and help you develop your own research skills. Because this whole program, the whole point of it is for you to develop your research skills in do independent research or team research. And we like to place a strong emphasis on building those skills, but like in high caliber skills that you can apply to your own projects. So that's why the mentors won't give you direct answers, but we rather guide you into like actually figuring out how to answer any questions or in your project in your process, like figuring out and solving problems. So we're here to like refine your research question, but we're not here to write it. Obviously, we're here to advise on like how to make your experimentation and your methodology, and we're here to give feedback on your drafts in your process. And we're here to also encourage independent thinking. That's a huge emphasis on our program.
The structure of a research project. The first thing is the question. What do you want to know? For example, do you want to know if plants grow better in the sunlight or the shade? Number two, literature review. What do others already know? What are some sources online we can find of people saying, oh, plants, they grow better in the shade than the sun, and the different ideas about that? What do other people already know? And the methodology. How will you find the answer? Are you going to ask some of the medical leaders or your medical teacher, or maybe community leaders, people in your local libraries, or how are you going to find the answer? And then analysis. What does the evidence show? And communication. How do you share your findings? How are you going to write it in your document? How are you going to, the different people you're going to talk to about your findings, different places where you can post your findings, just how you're going to share them.
All right, so this is an example of a real research question that's broken down piece by piece. So you can, in the future, make your own research question, make it efficient for real research. So it should be feasible and apply to your field. So for one, first, the topic would be social media use and academic performance in high school students. So the question is, does daily social media use correlate to GPA in ninth grade students? And GPA is basically grade, like the actual grade they get, in case you're not from the US or if you're not familiar like with GPA. And then you do literature review. So you would study literature online, for example, in EBSCO or JSTOR or public databases, and then you would see, for example, in this specific topic, we would find that most studied college students and how their GPA correlated to social media use, and many didn't study specifically high schoolers, for example. And there there you go, you found a gap. So maybe you could survey a couple of 80, maybe 80 high schoolers and ask them their GPA and ask them how much screen time they have each day. And then you would make a correlation. So from there, you do analysis and you do regression analysis. It's okay if you don't know what that means yet, but it's a really important tool, mathematical tool you would use to, especially in mathematics or sociology, you would use to make like a regression, like make an estimate for a relationship between two variables. And for example, in this case, you would have the GPA and the grade and the social media use. So you would see, okay, if this person has X hours of social media use, what is their estimated GPA? It's like estimating if you have one variable, what's the other variable? It's like an analysis. And then findings, you would present your findings and see how they fit in with current literature. And then you would do a follow, like we recommend you do like a follow-up, like for example, control study with sleep as a variable. So here is your research mindset that we strive to help you develop. And first, embrace uncertainty. For example, when I was doing research last year on skin cancer, I at first I didn't know the outcome, right? Like if you start your research project, you know exactly what your outcome is, then you are not doing it correctly. You should not be able to like figure out like exactly what's going to happen. Because like what I'm trying to get at is you shouldn't have a research question or frame your project in a sense that like you already know the answer to it. You should do something that's like not done already. Like for example, if I have the ability to just go on Google and search up the answer to whatever like is going to happen, like if I mix baking soda and vinegar, then there's no point in doing research on it. It's the whole point of it is to learn something new and contribute to the field. So embrace uncertainty, like which just means that like not you shouldn't know the answer to it, and the whole path of it shouldn't be a straight line. It should be like it should be like zigzagged, and these different like zigzagged. This pattern is important because you learn in the process, which is more important than getting good results in research. And make sure to follow the evidence. So basically make sure you don't fabricate data. Like obviously that's an ethical violation, but like make sure that you follow the strictly follow whatever is the previous research and make sure to follow good note-taking skills in data analysis that is accurate. Make sure to make correct assumptions in your question. So make sure to not assume things, like especially if you know a lot of information facts in this field and the field that you choose, make sure that you figure out those assumptions and do real literature review to avoid any like biases or misconceptions. So next is to be precise with your data. Don't use like vague phrasing or answers because they often lead to like misunderstandings, like when people are interpreting your data, because in research you must be tight on what exactly you say, especially when you're publishing to like a big journal, for example. You must be able to clearly like explain the scope of your problem and the scope of like what's your proposed solution, and make sure to accept failure. In my research, I did fail multiple times with my design. With, for example, with my Arduino, there's multiple times I had to like fix it and like start over again. So failure is actually a good thing because without failure, your project is not innovative, right? Like no project will be out there where like it's a straight line from start to finish. So make sure that you like embrace failure as like a positive aspect and you grow from it. And then communicate clearly with your mentors and with people, because like in the real research world, in the real workplace, you're going to be communicating constantly. So make sure that you have develop those skills, because our program puts an emphasis on developing real research skills.
So, guys, this is your 6-week roadmap. So, week 1, which is today, orientation and foundations. We're just going to start thinking about our research, maybe what topics we want to dive into, and things like that. Week 2 is our questions and our literature review. We're going to start getting some of our research questions out, maybe do some review with our mentors, and diving into our research topics and questions. Week 3 is our research design. We're gonna have our questions down in our document. And week 4 is our data and analysis. So we're gonna start thinking about our sources, going to our sources, maybe how we're gonna gather the evidence of our research. And then week 5, we have writing and communication. We're gonna see the type of vocabulary we're using. We're gonna make sure that our writing is nice and solid. We're gonna have our mentors do a nice review of the text and have some ideas and pointers on what ideas and things to mention in our research. And then week 6 is our virtual symposium. Guys, don't be afraid of that word, guys. A symposium is just a meeting where experts talk about their research and their ideas. And guys, after spending 6 weeks with our mentors, you guys are the experts. And we're gonna have a great time on week 6. We're gonna share our research and ideas, and it's all gonna be great.
So here are our program expectations. We expect of you to attend all 6 live weekly sessions to get maximum guidance in your research journey, because the research journey is difficult. We're gonna admit it, like it's gonna be difficult at times, especially when like you don't understand certain concepts, or like because like even if you're a beginner, like there's a lot of things like you might need help on, which is what the mentors are here for, you to understand the different parts of the process. So we definitely encourage you to like reach out to us and like your mentors, especially to get guidance. So that's why we put an emphasis on you attending all 6 weeks, as all of them have like crucial information in your research journey, and all sessions will be recorded and put on YouTube. And then number 2 is to complete all weekly tasks before the next session. So you'll be assigning homework. It won't be anything too crazy, and obviously schoolwork is first, but homework is basically consisting of like things that like critical integral things that are part of your research journey. So for example, forming a research question or things like that. And then you must engage seriously with your mentor. This isn't like a fun time. This is supposed to be a time of like serious research, so you understand and learn the research process. And then you come prepared with questions, as many questions you have might be really important. So like feel free to like ask us any questions, because a lot of us have done research experience, so we'll be able to help you. And do your own work, because mentors guide. We don't do all the work for you or write or research for you. You're supposed to do that, but mentors are supposed to guide you and give you the skills to do so. And 5 is to present at the week 6 symposium. So this includes like I'm pretty sure Desai's already explained this, but it includes just like presenting your research at week 6. So this is what you'll produce from each week. This is week 1, by the way. It's just this class, but the onboarding form and initial track interest. So we will gather interest in the different fields, and the different fields we already discussed them, but they're like 6 different fields, including stuff in life sciences, AI or sociology, and different things. So in even humanities. So then week 2 will be drafting your real research question, and it won't be the final draft because the next week is gonna be the research proposal outline. You're just gonna be drafting it. We'll give you like advice and guidance on your research question for week 2. And please have 3 to 5 annotated sources. Annotate sources means like you have the sources from online. You put it into like a tool such as Neural Tools. We'll explain all this like soon. Don't worry if you don't understand this stuff, but well, you can put it into like a sort of citation machine and annotate it, which means that you add like a paragraph or so explaining how this will help you in your research or like one like key information or like how is it reliable and stuff like that. We'll explain all this later. And then week 3, you propose your like official research proposal, your outline. So this includes your question, your method, and your outcomes and your procedures and stuff like that. So week 4 is your preliminary findings and your argument draft, and then week 5 will be you're starting to draft your research poster and your presentation outline. And week 6, you're going to do your final presentation at the virtual symposium for ARSP.
So the virtual research symposium. Guys, one more time, let me just say the symposium is just a meeting where experts talk about their research and ideas. So week 6 is the opportunity to present the research to a real audience. And there's no stakes, and it's just a chance to practice. So the format is this. It's going to be a virtual poster presentation, a live presentation, and a Q&A with the audience. And guys, don't worry, the audience aren't any large academic moguls. It's just parents and families and the research mentors. And the best part about it all is that you get a certificate of completion, which goes a long, long way, a mentor written feedback, a program portfolio record. And let me tell you guys, these 3 portfolio items are enough they can do a lot. They can really do a lot. So guys, take pride in your work on week 6. And yeah.
So for today, we have planned for you 2 activities. Number 1 is to introduce yourself, like share your name, your grade, and one topic that you always found interesting, just to get to know you guys. Next, we're gonna select your research track. So like, I think we should go back to the slide of all the research tracks. Like we can review it, I guess, a bit more in depth, so you can come prepared for your final selection next week. So like, you're not gonna like decide now, but like we can like explain it further, all the research tracks, so that you can get an idea for next week.
So yeah, wait, we'll do that in a bit, but you guys kind of shared like a school subject you guys are interested in, but by a topic you have an interest in, we kind of mean something more specific. Like, for example, like how screen time has an effect on sleep or something. Like just kind of a specific topic. It can be like, I don't know, a specific animal,
Like
like
an
a more
interesting
specific.
question.
Hmm?
Interesting question you've always wondered about, or something like a fun fact, like or something like you want always like wondered about in science, or like the topics you've just talked about.
So take a few minutes to think about that and then we'll ask everyone to share again. Or maybe like a problem you see in the world that you would want to help solve. I'll go back to the track slide if that helps you guys like narrow down some subjects.
So guys, I'm gonna explain each track really quickly. Maybe that'll help. So the first track is life sciences and medicine. So a research question about life sciences and medicine could be, I'm gonna use teens for all this or for all these examples. So it could be like how has how teens screen time could be affecting their health. And it makes sense because it's related to like life and medicine, right? And then number 2 is computer science and AI. A research question could be how teens using AI could be affecting their intelligence. I'm not gonna lie, I use ChatGPT a lot for school assignments, but yeah, that could be one of the research questions. Number 3 is math and data analysis. Could be how how teenagers doing math, how teenagers doing math improves their math grade or something like that. A lot of these questions are off the fly, but we'll dive deeper into better research questions. So for psychology and neuroscience, the research question could be maybe how using how how having one less hour of screen time affects the brain in teenagers. That could be a research question that's easily done online. And many leaders of youth organizations would appreciate research like that. Another research question could be so for social sciences, could be like, are all the schools are all the schools like in Texas? Do they follow like data policies and do they keep like their student information safe? For social sciences, it makes sense. It's related to policy. And if you submitted that research to some Texas organizations, they would appreciate your research and you could get um, very good recognition for that. So for number 6, humanities, history, philosophy, there's a lot of different things you can do in this because history, philosophy, they're such big topics. But you could say something like maybe how teenagers, how thinking improves, how thinking more, or how critical thinking improves the general lives of teenagers. It's a very basic research question, but if done correctly, let me say, guys, doing research correctly and submitting it to the right platforms, the right people, it really does it works wonders for your portfolio. So yeah, those are the 6 research tracks. And hopefully after that, you guys you guys can decide a bit better on which tracks you're interested in. So yeah.
You guys want to share out now your which topic like to elaborate like what specifically like are you interested in like in science or in general like a problem you would love to solve or something. Do you want to share uh like what topic interests you like to elaborate like what problem would you love to solve in the world or something that you find interesting like what you're passionate about or like a topic that like really interests you like a problem interests you.
Kind of computer science.
So what in computer science like for example like Josiah said like for example ChatGPT or AI like ethics of AI or something like that like what in computer science do you find interesting?
Uh, I do not know how to put it.
That's okay. We'll give you more time to think about like later in like in this program like what exactly you guys want to do but just like get you guys thinking about like what problems like have you already known but yeah, okay, next one is
I wonder how using AI can affect student test scores.
all right, so AI to affect test scores. I got it. Okay, nice. Elizabeth.
How does reading often as a child influence what they want to do in the future?
All right, that's interesting too. So reading for the future, you're tracking. Oh, okay, got it. Wait, can you elaborate on like exactly what do you mean by like the future, like uh, the future plans or like interests or?
Yeah, like for example, what they want to do in college or like what
Oh,
they want to pursue or something like that.
all right, interesting. Next is Isabella.
I wonder how your sleep schedule affects your grades.
All right, yeah, that's a good question. All right, since you guys have already started thinking about like your different topics and problems, right, that like you're interested about, maybe you guys could start like looking at these 6 different user tracks on the screen. Josiah already like explained each of them, but if you want more like examples or like any more information, please feel free to ask us.
Does an instructor maybe want to just elaborate on like what each track encompasses? Because maybe the students like don't have much experience with these subjects.
Yeah, sure. I can explain a bit more about computer science and AI since I'm for that. So, for CS and AI, that's short for computer science and AI. It basically encompasses the field that like you guys are interacting with every day, like when you use your computer, like Google, or when you use ChatGPT or other AIs or stuff like that. It's all integrated into the Internet of Things. It's called IoT, which is basically just the internet and connected with things like for example, smartwatches or elevators and stuff like that. Computer science intersects like it's an intersection of different fields and integrates them into our daily day-to-day lives. So AI is like rapidly evolving. I see most of you are probably familiar with ChatGPT, in how it's a large language model. It's like a generative transformer which generates text in a sentence. And that's not the only type of AI. Like you'll learn way more about how AI like is not just it's way more than just ChatGPT. There's many different parts of ChatGPT and different types of AIs that can be used in a lot of applications like medicine, imaging, detection, or different types of AIs or physics informed networks stuff like that. But computer science and AI is rapidly evolving. There's like endless possibilities in it, and for the future, there's like a lot of impact in CS and AI like on different fields. So yeah.
Tanishka, do you want to like talk about yours?
Yeah, so I'm doing math and data analysis. So it's basically talking about like numbers and how we can use numbers to help solve like real life problems. And I think like an example could be like how can we use statistics, which is like using numbers for finance or applied math. So if you guys are interested in like applied math, finance, just how numbers work, and if you guys like math in school, then you guys should definitely try math and data analysis.
So I did the humanities track, and the thing is, humanities, it explores human experience, right? About history, literature, philosophy, art, and music. So my research topic or my research question was how social media changed the way people communicate and express themselves and form relationships. And the reason I love this topic so much through this question is because it involves like analyzing cultural and the changes in society. And I could even consider like the role of how technology influences human expression. So so yeah, humanities is really about like how humans how humans really interact with each other, how they are, and the study of art, music, philosophy, and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, so basically life sciences and medicine is basically saying that like for example, a research thing that I did was like the effect of like heart disease on children and people who are like infants because like I know for myself that like when I was in the ICU, I had a heart problem that really affected me, which is why I want to like research about kids specifically like who have my condition, which is why basically life science and medicine is basically saying it's just researching about stuff that goes on in like medicine, right? Because like yes, medicine's a big field, but it's like it can range from like heart disease or like some peop things with heart, or you can even go to like bones, like different parts of the bodies and like science that relates to biology, basically.
Do you want to explain psychology and neuroscience too?
Oh yeah, so psychology and neuroscience is like researching about the brain and how like humans like think about how they like affect the real world and like what they go through and what decisions they make depending on like how they're born or like what how the environment affects them and everything. So like worrying about like basically researching about psychology and neuroscience is like pathogen or sorry like nerve endings like in the brain and like how the brain works and like because of how the brain works then how those decisions come into play, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, so for social sciences is like it's how it's social sciences, it encompasses a lot of different things, right? Like economics, um, is how people have been running the world, how the economy works, how different policies run the way that different businesses operate. So for example, one of the research questions that I've done on social sciences is how social media impacts political engagements of teams. So like So for example, teenagers, right? A lot of them they spend a lot of their time online. They can like absorb a lot of different information that could affect like if they want to vote or not. And so social sciences it's a great like research track. And the thing is, the research question I did, it's not too broad because it's what is the impact of the internet. So it's also the thing is you could potentially measure social media use when gathering like evidence, and it addresses a current issue like about the role of social media in politics and its impact on young people. So that's why I love my research question so much. And social sciences is a very diverse track, and there's a lot that you can do in social sciences itself about the economy, about politics, about policies. And yeah, it's a great track for
Yeah,
me.
to like add on to Josiah, basically social science is like how the world operates. So like the look at the parentheses, it says economy, socially, or politically, right? That's like it encompasses three aspects that the world operates on. Like economy, like that's money, right? So you can research on how money affects like poor people compared to like rich people, and like what's the wage gap between women and men. And then for social, like you can say like how cultures like affects like I don't know, like how cultures affect the policies that are like being implemented, and like the Congress, how like how they're like less, they don't like really encompass everybody who lives in the United States. Like those type of research questions you can ask for like social science.
Yeah, so hopefully that gives you guys an idea of what each track kind of encompasses, and maybe you guys already feel drawn to one of them.
Also, just want to add on that whenever you pick your track, don't feel restricted to like just that track. Like you can't like maybe combine different tracks. Like you are picking a primary track, but don't feel free to like integrate different disciplines because the whole point of research is to be interdisciplinary and multifaceted research. So you can feel free to like have like for example, if you pick social sciences, for example, it has it's like it has the potential to integrate, for example, mathematics and maybe psychology. Like for example, I don't know, like 55% or 67% of people are suffer with like Alzheimer's or something like that. So you can like combine different fields, but don't feel restricted to like certain like tracks.
And like to help you like think about it, just think to your everyday life and what impacts you the most, and how like you just think of a problem that happens in like every day, and like what you're most drawn to. Because I know a lot of people that here said reading and like writing, et cetera, et cetera. So think about like maybe like tie like problems that we have in the real world, like AI and the use of writing and how that's affecting like children's brains, et cetera, et cetera. So just think about your life, think about the stuff that you do, and maybe think about some problems that you're attracted to.
Yeah, like if you do a certain activity, maybe like if you play an instrument or if you play a sport, you could think about like how different things affect your performance in those, like just to give you guys some ideas, just in your daily life.
A problem that I see often is that a lot of my friends they complain about their teachers and how they don't teach well or something. A lot of them also complain about how they don't have time to read or something like that because a lot of my friends like reading and we like a lot of the same books.
Okay, so like a research question for you could maybe be, this is just a suggestion, you don't have to go for it, but maybe like the impact of teachers who aren't really like help, like the impact of like the impact on students when teachers don't teach them, and maybe do some like surveys, et cetera, to like really back up your research, but maybe like do something about like how the impact of not reading, um, like the impact of not reading, like how that affects like kids in like English class specifically, especially when it comes to tests or something like that. Effie?
A problem I see is littering and global warming, and also the fact that the sun's like going to explode, but no one really cares because we're not going to live that long to where the sun explodes.
I think we can work something out because I know in debate we do a lot of research about like about the world as a whole, right? Like what's your topic right now?
Right now we're doing this house would prioritize national success over global cooperation.
Yeah, so okay, look, when you look at these like debate topics, like they're literally research topics on your by themselves because you're researching about it. So like you can kind of like you don't have to do it, but you can like cross this over into and like form it into like a research question if you want. Okay, I gave everybody like a platform to jump off of. So to think about like the like things that happen in your community, your life, just go through the process that I took you through, whether that's like just going step by step in your life and thinking, oh, this is what happens in my life. Like, how am I affected by it? Why do I enjoy it or why do I not enjoy it? And then maybe is it possible to do research on it?
So I think we'll probably be ending the session right now. Next time, the students should come prepared. So we'll give you guys time to decide in what you kind of want to do research on, and then we'll have another meeting next week, and we'll probably also try to assign you guys to your research vendors based on the tracks you choose. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming.